Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing around with the big double spread in my my Dilutions journal. Oh, it is my Dina Wakley journal. There you go. Just making stuff up as I go along, apparently. So I'm starting out with painting in my craft journal with a grey background, which is not a colour I tend to use very much, particularly as a starting coat. But it's a good sort of neutral to go in with. I just wanted to have something to sort of seal the pages that I could add a little bit of colour to, and it would sort of pop out. I'm being really loose with my brush strokes with this one because I want it to be sort of really, I don't know, painterly, I suppose. I've then spread on some of my gloss spray and watered it down a bit, and you get this really funky watercolor effect. Because it did dissipate just a little bit too much, I just got the straight paint, but I put it into the border and you can see how flowy it gets, so you can get a really cool effect. If you don't have access to the gloss sprays, using watered down acrylic works the same. It gives you a really cool effect. I'm been having fun sort of messing around with different color combos, and I really like this sort of the pink with the blues underneath it. You can see I'm using quite transparent layers as well, and that's something I've found that I enjoy doing a lot because I've got a little bit more control over how much paint, how much color I'm putting onto the page. I don't know if anyone watches it. My children are obsessed with watching art videos on YouTube, and they drive me potty with the amount of acrylic paint they put onto things. It's like, no, why would you do that? So to add a little bit of that grey back in again, I've just stenciled some across the middle, and now I'm going in with my woody Stabilo Woody pencils, which are like the Stabilo All pencils but just a lot chunkier and fatter, to do some scribbly background. So I wanted this sort of really graffiti-ishy type background. Now I'm going in and gluing these collage sheets over the top. These are both from Natalie May Scrapbooking. I've trimmed them out fairly closely. You can see there's bits of white here, obviously where I've rounded off her head somewhat. This one has strips coming down when I get to the edge of the page, but I was going to fill those up. Now, one thing to be careful of is obviously the Stabilo Woody I used in the background is water soluble, so you just need to be aware when you're putting down your gel medium that will shift it somewhat. I didn't particularly mind because it's a background, but just be aware. So I started off with some Payne's Grey ink, which might confuse you because it looks pink. It really is, but Payne's Grey is obviously it's an almost black, but it's got blue purple undertones to it, and when you water it out you tend to get those undertones rather than the dark grey colour. So to combat that, I've gone in with my black gloss spray from Dina Wakley, and I'm painting over the top of it. I wanted it sort of to have natural drips on it, but I ended up having to sort of paint in the drips almost, so I could get them kind of where I wanted them, particularly with the left-hand side image, because obviously I wanted those drips to extend down the rest of the page. With the right-hand one, obviously I've got a few natural drips in there too, but I just wanted to make sure that sort of everything was where it was supposed to be. Then I've really watered down the paint or acrylic gloss spray so I can use it as a shadowing agent. So again, the great thing about these gloss sprays is they are acrylic. Once they're dry, they're permanent, but with a little bit of water you can actually manipulate them out a little bit, which I really love. When I've finished, I'm just going in with my white Stabilo All pencil to add a little bit of shading back in, not shading, highlighting, sorry, to my image, just to help bring it out, particularly around the eyes and around the side of the face where the light is hitting. And this is what I really love about using collage images like this, that the shading on the pieces themselves really helps you know where the light's hitting, where you need to put in your lights and darks on your image. particularly for those who are not confident in doing that, which I am one of those people. So once I've finished adding in my lights and darks, you can see I'm getting a bit squibbly with my hair, just so you've got those sort of loose tendrils coming out. I'm also going in with a little bit of pink to balance up their face again. So all the while sort of using what is there and just adding on as I go along, which I really, really love that you've got that ability to do that in the background. I decided then I wanted to put a little bit of splatter over it. I'm trying to kind of avoid the faces. I don't really mind if it does end up on the faces. If it does, you can just use a bit of a wet wipe and wipe that away. I then got brave, and I actually really loved how it turns out with my fan brush with some additional ink, and popped that over the hair. So you sort of got this sort of grey-black streaks through it, which reminded me very much of my hair at the moment. I've got lots of wisdom coming through as we speak. So once I've finished my two figures, then I decided I was going to put a quote on the page. Looking at this page now, I wish on the right hand side figure I'd added a little bit more white in. I love how the left hand side page looked. The right hand page is just that little bit of a same colour all over. And so I think it needed a little bit more white to hit the highlights of the page. But I decided this quote would be perfect. Embrace the glorious mess that you are, because it really represents me in all stages of my life, really. And, you know, the fact that these images are a little bit messy, a little bit all over the place, but they're happy with who they are. They look good. They're not perfect, but who of us is perfect? So I think the quote itself works really well with the images. Sometimes my quotes and my images are completely separate from each other. It's just a quote that I need to tell myself at the day. Sometimes they work together like they do on this one. Doing the double page, I often find is a really fun way. If I've got something, particularly if I've really enjoyed doing the background, that I want to make a double page, it's great to have a big quote going across the middle. And it's a good way to practice your lettering as well. So once I've gone through and thickened my letters, then I'm going in and doing a drop shadow with my grey alcohol marker. I've been finding this really helps give a 3D effect. And because it's alcohol marker, obviously it's a translucent ink, so you can see the background through it. So it actually really does give like a true shadow. Once I've done that, then I'll go in with white and give it a highlight. So again, you think, oh, how many times are you going to play with these letters? You can do as many layers as you want, but I find if you've got your base letter, do a shadow and then do a highlight, they really stand out. So if you haven't tried it, have a go. It's pretty easy to do. Just be consistent of where you're putting all your highlights. So here's a close-up of the image itself. My favourite bit of this page, I think, is that white ink. And like, that was pure accidental. I didn't know how that was going to work. I just had ink left on my fan brush and I stroked it onto the page. And sometimes those little one-off bits are the bits that you go, oh yeah, I can do that. So take advantage of when you're hit by inspiration, just do it. It's either going to work, or if it doesn't, if it does work, it's probably going to be brilliant. So have a go. Until next time, bye for now.